guys, so we talked about the Ashanti interview. Let's talk about the Nene Leakes interview. So Nene had an exclusive interview with Larry Reid Live. He has a YouTube and a Facebook Live show that he does, and he usually talks. I thought that Larry Reid, I always want to call him Larry King. I thought that Larry Reid Live spoke about like gossip, but like in the church community, in the faith realm. So I didn't know that he actually did these type of interviews as well. But he did the interview with Nene, and it was interesting to say the least. First of all, it was an hour and 45 minutes long. It was entirely too long for me. I was just like, when is this shit gonna be over? It just took so long to get the points out. I was just like over it. And then it was clear that he was very much a fan of Nene, so there weren't any, I don't think, any really challenging type of questions. But I mean, it was enough. It was enough. She basically got on there. She talked about her upbringing, you know, from, I guess she's originally from New York, but moved to Athens, Georgia, was raised by her aunt, or was it her aunt or her grandmother? You guys know the story. Her mom couldn't raise her. She was raised by family members. You know, talked about coming from a broken home, talked about when she met her oldest son's father, you know, the relationship that they had and still have to this day. Talked about when she met Greg and how they, you know, came about, and that story. She talked about, of course, Real Housewives of Atlanta. It was quite shady about the show. You know, we know that BravoCon just happened recently. She, you know, claimed or said that she was not invited to BravoCon, which is not surprising. I mean, Bravo is not gonna, I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand that Bravo is not gonna fuck with Nene no more because she tried to sue him. Okay? They are done. You called them racist. Okay? Said that you were in these situations where you couldn't get help and you felt unsafe and it was a racist environment and, you know, all of that. They're not going to invite you to anything anymore. And that includes being back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, I will be super shocked. And you guys know I'll admit if I'm wrong, but I will be super shocked if she ever steps foot on a Real Housewives of Atlanta show again. She talked about her, you know, the lawsuit. She talked about the women on the show, said that Kandi, you know, she maintains that she doesn't have a problem with Kandi, but Kandi has always had a problem with her. I think most of us realize that Nene always felt threatened, I think, about Kandi. And she always plays that, you know, I just think that she has a problem with me being an original housewife. It's just sort of like, who cares? I mean, yes, that's something that Nene can be proud of because she did bring Real Housewives of Atlanta and, you know, put it on the map and all of that. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the original housewives. I just don't. I give Nene her props because Nene was great when she was on the show. You know, but as far as it, whether or not they were a first housewife or nothing, that doesn't really mean anything to me. But maybe it does if you were in that environment, if you were one of the housewives. Maybe that is why she put so much stock into that. Kandi is not thinking about Nene, especially now. Kandi is so in her bag that I am positive that she is not worried about the likes of Nene, okay, and what Nene is doing. So I don't think that Kandi even thinks about Nene like that. She talked about Kenya, you know, when Kenya at BravoCon said that she wanted Nene to be back on the show. And she said, you know, Kenya's very smart and she knows what's good for the show. That doesn't necessarily mean that Nene and Kenya are friends in any way. She's not friends with Cynthia anymore. She says she's cordial to Cynthia, but they won't ever get back to that space again. I think she just doesn't have a relationship with any of the girls anymore. And that's fine. I mean, you know, everybody moves on with their life. But she still has she still feels a way about Real Housewives and Bravo and all. So, but she did say that, you know, never say never. And she feels like if they could have a sit down and a talk, which I guess that's what mediation is going to happen with her team and Bravo's team. You know, the lawsuit was dropped. And so that was because they decided to go into mediation and see if they can get it settled. So I'm guessing the way she was talking, it sounds like she's hoping that when they sit and they talk, that they can maybe come to some sort of agreement and maybe work together again. I don't see it happening. It definitely won't happen before this mediation and shit is over. But she talked about other things, her relationship with this new guy. You know, she kind of hesitated, but she did say that they are exclusive. He is still married. He's going through a divorce, you know. Yeah, she had a little issue. Well, the wife had an issue with her. She was just like, it wasn't even that serious at the time. Like he could have went back to her because we was just friends when, you know, when she was speaking out and saying that she wanted to sue Nene. Well, now they are a bigger item and everything. But so, I mean, the interview was good, but it was just sort of like, you know, Nene was just shady. You know, she was shady in certain ways. And, you know, I still wonder what exactly is going to happen with Nene, because we haven't, I mean, she was on College Hill on BET. I think she did that really to just keep her name out there. If she was on Real Housewives, you know, like even freshly off of the show, I don't think that she would have done that, you know. But I think that desperate times come for desperate measures, and to make sure that you keep your name out there, you know, you go and do a show with Ray J and Dream Doll and Lamar Odom, and, you know, not that those people ain't got their own shit going on too, but what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that Nene would have felt like that was to her caliber at one time. Okay, but now, because nobody is really knocking on the doors like that, you know, she's decided to go over there to College Hill. So, I mean, you can tell that she's gone through some changes, still trying to figure out what her future situation is going to be. I would like to see Nene doing something, because Nene is talented. She's funny, she's witty, she's sharp. And she really should still be out there in some sort of capacity. I don't know if I feel like it's Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I do feel like there is a space for Nene out there somewhere. And I hope that she can find it. But, you know, also her attitude sometimes weighs into some of those things, and it makes it difficult for people to accept, you know, Nene. There's a lot that comes with Nene. She also talked about her relationship with YSAP, how she thought that he was so entertaining and that they clicked. I was just like, oh no, what does this say about our character? But she said that she actually learned a lot about business from YSAP when she did Celebrity Apprentice with him. But, you know, she said that she seemed to enjoy him. She said she did not vote for him, though, and that she was actually surprised with the way that he was behaving once he was in office. A lot of that can be attributed to once you get power and you just get power hungry, once you become power hungry, you become like an egomaniac. And, you know, Donald Trump and all of his problems, you know, we won't get into that, but it was a pretty good interview. What do you guys think about it? I guess I probably could see Nene in a talk show. I could see her on a talk show. More so that I could probably see like a J Hood or even Sherry Shepherd, you know? But for whatever reason, that hasn't worked out. And I just don't know. I don't know where Nene is going to land, but I do feel that she deserves to be somewhere. I just don't know where that somewhere will be. How did you guys feel about the interview? Did you feel like he asked the questions that you guys wanted? And did she give the answers that you guys needed? Y'all let me know what you thought about it. All right, you guys, next story up. So I'm not going to talk about Kanye long. I didn't even put him in the first half. I'm trying to just throw him in here just real quick and let you guys know that Kanye is losing his fortune. I don't feel sorry for him. Because I feel like, I mean, some of you guys are telling me, I mean, it's genius. This is exactly what he wanted. I don't know where it's genius to lose your fortune, but maybe he know better than I do. All I do know is there is an abundance of people that are pulling out from any ties with Kanye West. Let me name some of the companies. Adidas, okay? Balenciaga. Vogue said they not fucking with him no more. Def Jam has dropped him. The film company MRC said they won't release his completed documentary. Okay, The Gap is done. Foot Locker won't sell his shit. Okay, the retail stores are pulling any of his merchandise. If they have it, they are pulling it off of their shelves. We know that his sports agency, where he represented a couple of sports players out there, they have decided to remove themselves from his representation. He had a high school basketball team that was supposed to play in a tournament. They got put out of the tournament because of their connection with Kanye West. I know a lot of people say that that's not fair to the kids, because the kids just want to play ball. But, you know, we got to, again, you know, there are consequences to the words that you say. He has lost quite a bit of money, went from his wealth being at $1.6 billion, mostly because of his contract deal with Adidas, him dropping all the way down to $400 million, worth $400 million, which is still a phenomenal amount of money. So Kanye ain't broke, okay? Although he does still stand to lose more money, as his powerful Hollywood agent, creative artist agent, CAA, they have also dropped him. So, and you know, they're the ones who are usually the ones who broker the deals for him, get the deals for him so that he can, you know, so that he can amass his legacy and his fortune and all of that. Well, now that he don't have those people representing him any longer, I mean, it's just, to me, it's just we watching the train wreck, okay? But some people are saying this is exactly what he wanted. It makes no sense to me, but fine. If that's what he wanted, and then he's getting exactly what he wanted. Now, I do know, though, that he's been out there apologizing for his anti-Semitic conversation. I haven't even watched any of the videos, but I've seen the headlines where he's apologizing for what he says. I don't even care. I don't want to hear it, you know. I don't care. Folks are very upset because they say, you know, well, nobody worries about the things that he said about the Black community. And my response to you is, when did you think that they cared about the Black community? Okay? Motherfuckers can say whatever they want to say about the Black community. Hell, the Black community don't even stick together. And so, of course, they feel like they can attack the Black community. And nobody, you know, everybody might say, yeah, that shit ain't right, but nobody is willing to start pulling out, you know, deals and cutting off money until you talk about the Jewish community. I mean, the Jewish community are the powerful people in Hollywood, in the music industry, in the entertainment industry itself. They are the ones who make the decisions. They are the ones who hold the contracts. They're the ones who make the decisions. They are the ones, you guys. So I know people were like, well, he can just do it on his own, but I just want to see him do it on his own then. If he feels that he can still make the billions without the help of the people who actually gave him all of those contracts and deals to begin with, then I just want to see it. And if he can do it, then good for him. But to me, it looks like the fucking train is wrecked. That's what it looks like to me. It don't look like that this is the best plan. I don't know if he thought the whole thing out, and did he realize that everybody was going to drop him the way that they have. I mean, he's like a hot rock right now. Nobody wants to fuck with him. So, and you know, I know also that when things are really hot and happening at the time, that's when everybody starts to like leave it alone and pull out and shit. And all this will cool down, and then we'll see where Kanye lands then. But yeah, I mean, the shit don't make sense to me. But if that's what y'all say, okay, if y'all know better what his plan is, y'all can enlighten us in the comments. But I don't feel sorry. I don't care. I'm just sort of like, oh, well. That's the way the ball bounces. And we're going to move on to the next story. All right, you guys. Kim Zolciak. So she purchased a home out here in Atlanta back in 2012, or out in Alpharetta, which is a suburb of Atlanta. I think they said in 2012, right before her show, Don't Be Tardy. Before she got that show deal, her and her husband, Bierman, what's his name? First name? I can't think of his name. Is it Todd? No, it's not Todd. That's Candy's husband. I can't think of his, Troy Bierman, the former football player. She ended up marrying him. They bought this home together for one point, I think they said $2 million. They've been living in the home ever since. We saw the home extensively. If you watched Don't Be Tardy, that show ran for some 8 years. I think in 2021, they finally took the show off the air. And I'm guessing since the show went off of the air, maybe there were some money issues, some financial issues, and she fell behind on her mortgage payments. So it got so far behind that it went into foreclosure. Said that she had a $300,000 loan that was in foreclosure, and that was going to keep her from being able to keep the house, and that they were going to auction the house off on the stairs of the courthouse in Fulton County. What we have found out, though, is that she ended up settling the balance. Basically, they're saying, I mean, it's confusing, but they're saying that it was a $10,500 and some change bill that needed to be paid that she hadn't paid. But it did get paid, and well, all's well that ends well. She's not losing her house. It's not going to be auctioned off on the courthouse steps. And her and the family live to see another day in the house, okay? But I will say that if she's having issues coming up with just $10,000, then maybe there are some, bigger, larger financial issues. And maybe it's time to sell the house and kind of downsize. She got 15,000 kids. I don't know if those older kids still live there or what, but, maybe it's just time to downsize. I don't know. I mean, she still needs that house size, though. This is a 6,000 square foot, 5-bedroom, 6.5 bathroom. I mean, and she has, I think her and Troy had 4 kids, right? And then she had the 2 before that. So, I mean, it was 6 kids, a whole bunch of people. So, I mean, she needs a house, but I don't know. I know that we don't need to, in this day and age, we don't need to try to live outside of our means. We need to make sure that we are comfortable enough to provide for ourselves and our family, and that we don't be living from pillar to post and check to check and all of that. Okay. So I don't know. But anyway, Kim's house is safe. They're still there. It won't get auctioned off. Next story up, you guys. So remember a month ago when we were watching the U.S. Open and we saw Serena, and after she lost her match, she gave her speech, and, we were all watching and at history, coming to a close, and she was retiring. She had said in a Vogue magazine article that, it was time for her to go on and concentrate on her other businesses. She also wanted to make sure that she was there for her daughter who was growing. She wanted to nurture that relationship and all. So it was time for her to retire. She gave her thank yous and speech on the thing, and, said that Venus was the reason that she was who she was. And I mean, we just commercials and people doing dedications to her and ceremonies and all of this. And we were just like, okay, that was the end of an era. Like Serena, you know, arguably the best tennis player in the history of the game. She's retiring, and child, now she done came out and said, not so fast. Okay. So apparently she was at a TechCrunch Disrupt conference, and she said that she hasn't retired yet, and that you guys can actually see her you probably see her very soon out on the tennis courts. Now, I don't know what that means, but it sounds like sis girl probably will be coming back to the competitive sport soon. She said that it's been hard for her one of the reasons why I think she felt like she needed to retire, or maybe was thinking about retiring at one point, was she said that it was hard for her to maintain like a work and life balance. Like when she knows that she's working, then she's fully into work, and you know, she neglects her responsibilities, maybe as a mom, as a wife, and those kind of things. So I think that she doesn't really know how to do both. And so that's where she is. But she said that she's not retired, you guys. So all of that we was doing, it was really just a reminder of how great she is. But we probably will see her play the game again. And, you know, we've heard her talk about in the past how she's felt guilty, especially when it comes to her daughter not being able to be there the way that she wants to be there. And so maybe that was, you know, the reason why she was feeling like she needed to come out the game already. But, you know, we also have seen many sports players, they have to be ready to retire. Other people cannot be the ones to tell them what they need to do. They have to be the ones that's ready to do it. Otherwise, they start playing this dance of retiring and then coming back. I mean, we saw Tom Brady just do it recently. Okay. But, you know, we can think of other sports players who have done this and have gone and come back because they just weren't ready. So she's probably just not at that point. And if you still have good playing years in you, then you can understand why people wouldn't really, really honestly be ready to retire. And Serena is still bomb. Like, she could still play and compete and give the girls hell, you know? So it's not like she was already going out, you know, because she was losing all the time and all of that. So it was just like, okay, let me stop now. You know, she's still probably not in her prime, but real close still to playing prime level tennis, you know. So we'll see where we see her land. I mean, I would look forward to seeing Serena back out there. But I know also that she wants to be there with her daughter. And child, that daughter looked like she a handful. Child, that daughter looked like she be a whole lot. Y'all saw at that open when the grandmama was just sort of like doing like this, like sit your ass down and quit running up and down and back and forth, because that little girl was every fucking where. And you could just tell that, you know, she could probably stand to have a little extra time with mommy. But yeah, you guys, Serena says she ain't gone. Don't count her out just yet. All right, you guys, next story up. Your boy Tory Lanez seems like he has been put on house arrest because of that kerfluffle that he had with August Alsina when they were in, what were they? Were they in Detroit? Or is it St. Louis? Why do I always get Detroit and St. Louis mixed up? I know people from Detroit and St. Louis be like, and we are nothing alike. But something in my mind keep on wanting to say y'all the same. But anyway, he wasn't charged for anything in that. August Alsina, at least up until now, hasn't pressed charges for what happened. But because of that incident, and because we saw it play out on social media, even though we didn't see the actual fight, but we saw the after effects, the judge was just like, you know what, that's a fuck enough. Okay. Now, he was already facing assault and weapons charges in the case with Meg Thee Stallion. All right. He's violated his bail plenty of times because he's not supposed to be having contact with Meg. They was fussing and shit on social media. You know, he was saying what he was saying and pulling her out, and they were having their confrontations. And then when he went to the Rolling Out Loud concert, he was in vicinity, I guess, also in his bail. He can't come into certain foot contact with Meg Thee Stallion. He came out there and performed right after Meg Thee Stallion had just performed. He came out to perform, I think, with DaBaby. And so it's been some violations that he's had, and the judge is fucking over it. So they're like, you know what, now because you can't do what the fuck I tell you to do, you just sit your ass in the house until we have your court case. The court case is scheduled to begin November 28th. So I guess once the court case starts, maybe he can come out the house again. But as of now, he is on house arrest. And I'm sure that makes some people very happy, because Tory Lane's been with the shits lately and been carrying on like he just a regular free man. I was like, man, you got court you still have a court case that you dealing with, and you out here beating up August Alsina, who we all know has health issues and all of that. Like, he ain't trying to fight you, you know? And just so, yeah. Anyway, he's on house arrest, you guys, and we'll be there for a while. Okay, so if you need to contact him, he'll be at the house. All right, you guys, I also wanted to make sure that I put in here rest in peace to Leslie Jordan. You guys, you know, he unfortunately passed in a car accident the other day. We are not really sure if he passed because of the car crash. He ran into the side of a building. But some people seem to believe that he may have had a medical emergency, like a heart attack while he was driving, lost control of the car, crashed into the side of the building. And either he had already passed from this massive heart attack or from the impact from the crash. At any rate, he died, which is so sad. I mean, many of us know him from Will and Grace, American Horror Story. I know him the best from, him being on social media because of the pandemic. He was out spreading positivity and happiness. I mean, he would come onto his video and he would say, well, shit, what are y'all doing? That was like his opening tag, and he would talk, and he would just, when the pandemic happened and nobody could get outside, remember I told you guys that was going to be a time of social media explosion where people are going to be more creative. And I mean, we have definitely seen that. Okay. But also out of that, we were able to get close to people that we otherwise wouldn't have known anything about, just because of their personality and their ability to make us feel a certain way, when we didn't know what the hell was going on. Okay. We learned a lot about him, his life, his mom, who recently passed. But, it was just nice to have somebody that was positive and who just kept us at a time where people were really, really stressed. Okay. Of course, he's been a force in the LGBTQ community. People got to know his spirit. People got to see his humanity. And people got to see that even though there are many, many differences between all of us, there are many other things that we can all connect on as a people, at a time where we all needed each other. So it was very, very sad to hear that he died. So many people have spoken out and, just on the, how he made them feel, the relationships that they've had, opening doors for the LGBTQ community, just him as a person. You don't hear anything bad about him. And 67 years old, you guys, he is young. Like that to me is young. And just so sad to hear that he died, but this is somebody that can never be replaced. The good thing is his videos will live forever on social media. They will always be out there. But yeah, just an extreme loss. Just an extreme loss, you guys. He wasn't married, and I don't believe he had any children. But like I said, he was 67 years old. Rest in peace to Leslie Jordan. And then lastly, you guys, seems like our girl Rihanna has a song coming out on the Black Panther soundtrack. Okay. Actually, the song is going to release today when you get this video, which is October 28th. 28th. But I'm recording this, of course, on Thursday, but you guys are going to get this video on the 28th. That is also when the song is going to drop. The name of the song is Lift Me Up, and it is written by Tim's, okay? And Rihanna will be performing it. Well, it's her song. Okay, so we'll be hearing it. Everybody that are Rihanna fans can be happy to know that, you know, she's got this music coming. She hasn't had an album come out in 6 years. We know her album is scheduled to come out when the Super Bowl happens next year. So a lot of big things happening for Rihanna. Rihanna took her a 6-year break, went and, you know, wrapped herself up with A$AP Rocky and had a little bouncing baby boy that we still don't even know. I don't even think we know the baby's name. Have they said it? I don't believe that they had. We definitely ain't seen the baby, and probably won't see him for some time. But yeah, you guys, the music is coming. The music is coming. So you guys just rest assured Rihanna's on her way. Guys, so I'm gonna get off of here and get on back to work. Also, I wanted to do a shout out to a rock star out there, Angel. Okay, Angel Mayberry has been a rock star for many years, and it was just his birthday, and he asked me to give him a shout out. And thank you so much for your support and your love and you being here and rocking with me, whether or not, you know, if you agreed with me or not, but you've still been here, and I appreciate you. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I said happy birthday to you. And I am going to get off of here. We do this every single week. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars.